When was the last time you have been somewhere haunted? Did you have an encounter there? There are tons of haunted locations all around. Find out where and prepare yourselves for the experiences others have had. Make sure the lights are off and join us for Haunted Locations in 60 minutes.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Diana, I'm going to let you do the intro this time.
Okay, so today we're looking at Bachelors Grove Cemetery. It was condemned in 1977. It started in 1844.
Let's see, I have it right here.
Yeah.
1864.
64.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It unfortunately has come to disrepair because in the 60s and the 70s it was like wasn't being cared for anymore, and people were breaking in and pushing over tombstones. There's stories that they were doing satanic rituals and things like that in there. The place has got many different legends of what's there and who haunts there and where the people came from and things like that. When the vandalism was going on, there actually started to show up the caretakers, what they call them. And what that was is there would be some people would just see a shadow, other people would see an older gentleman carrying a lantern, and it's like an orange glow lantern, and they would see him kind of walking up. So whenever there was like happenstances going on, this guy would like start showing up. There's a story of two college guys who came home from school, and they're heard about, hey, yeah, it's scary, good fun, you gotta go, blah blah blah. And so they were like, oh yeah, sure, let's check it out. So they're walking down the path, and all of a sudden they see in the horizon, coming over the horizon, this old man, right? And they had heard the story of the caretaker. So they were walking up, and the apparition was walking towards them, and they were like, hey, no, we're just here because we're interested, we're not going to cause any trouble, blah blah blah. And the guy stopped, and he looked at them, and they said that he pointed, and so they kind of walked past him, of course, feeling quite terrified. They were like, how do we get out of here? So they were walking away, and one of them said that he felt the urge to turn back around. So he spun around, and his friend spun around, and they sat there and they watched him, and they watched the light just kind of dim, and then there was nothing. There's also a rumor about a phantom house.
Yes. I was hoping that you were going to bring that up, because that is something that I've always wanted to see there. Is they say what happens is you walk in, and there's a house in the background. It's like this big white gigantic barn, and you're walking towards it, but when you walk towards it, it starts disappearing, and then once you get to it, it's gone. But then when you start walking away from it, it starts getting bigger and bigger again.
Yep. Yeah. There was hold on, where was I? There's different. Before it was like up till recently, there was a people said that it was in different areas. I mean, you talked to
Hmm.
different people. It was like it was over on this side, it was over on that side, it was over there. Um, and then there was like no evidence of a house actually being there
Right.
until recently. They have come across um a picture of a large white house with a
Okay.
large porch with people standing in front of it. So not exactly sure how long ago they found that, but I was watching another YouTube video, and they said that, and then at the very end, because the guy said there's no evidence of a house being here, but at the end they kind of fade off, and then they showed the picture of this house, and they say this was recently found.
Hmm.
So yes, there was a house there in that area.
And see,
Um,
that's just crazy to think about. Like,
yeah,
how does that work? You know,
yeah.
um, hey Courtney, I don't understand how that works. You go into a haunted place or wherever, and then all of a sudden you just see this thing appear in front of you. But then when you walk
Kind of
away
like
from it,
Brigadoon.
yeah,
Brigadoon,
there's
it only happens every 100 years.
yeah, right. You never know though, that could be something, with Bachelor's
Hmm.
Grove. And God, Bachelor's Grove has so much to it. I remember the first time we went there, and we heard all the stories and everything like that. Um, the one story that really got me though is there's a pond behind Bachelor's Grove, and they say one of the reasons why that cemetery is so haunted too is
Water.
because Al Capone threw his victims in that pond
Wouldn't
behind the
doubt it.
cemetery. And
Definitely would not doubt
actually,
it.
we do have a picture of some of the stuff from Bachelor's Grove, so I'll have Todd bring it out. I'll show
Okay.
you guys. So this is Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, and like Diana was saying earlier, it's unfortunately it's been very very vandalized, um, and they feel that is why Bachelor's Grove is so haunted
Hmm.
too. There's actually, I was reading, there's a total of like 60 to 70 more unmarked graves inside of Bachelor's Grove because people do this.
Hmm.
And this is just, it's completely disrespectful too. Um, like you go there and, you expect to see like, a grave with, your family's name on there or whatever. And now there's nothing there. It's just
It just breaks your
absolutely.
heart, really.
Um, So, but I mean, if you look though, I mean, it's weird. It's very, very calming
Mhm.
when you are inside of Bachelor's Grove. Now, I don't know if you can see in the background, but there's a fence. You can go past that fence, and there's more stuff back there that they say there's more graves. We've seen, and other people have seen foundations back there of, different buildings and all that kind of stuff. But when you leave the fence area, that's when it starts getting dark and you start feeling very weird. The presence around you starts changing and everything. Uh, I remember one time when we were there, we were kind of walking like because there's paths all over. You could take a path to go to like different locations and stuff. And we were on this path, and we looked down, and there was a picture of a girl with 5 candles around it. And we were giving a tour. We told people don't touch it because
Yeah, please.
you have no clue what any of that stuff is or anything like that. Um, yeah, I mean, Bachelor's Grove is it's definitely there's a lot of stuff to it, and it's one big gigantic mystery that a lot of people still have not solved yet
Yeah.
at all.
Um,
Go for it.
there's also a picture, or there is one picture that made the world's top 10 um
This
That's
one?
it.
Yep.
hmm The
Mm-hmm.
world. I mean, we're talking Europe, which has like thousands of years of history. And then here in, Illinois, when we're like, what, barely 200, 2.5 years old, this woman was sitting on, as you see, right, the thing that she's sitting on
Right over
is
here.
yeah, is a tombstone. It's a checkerboard tombstone, and they have that. So they call her the Madonna. She has also been seen carrying an infant.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's also a gravestone that says infant daughter.
hmm
It's like it's right by the pond, but not super close to this or anything like that. Now it's funny. The people that took this picture, um, it was Dale Kazmarik's group. That's where Greg used to belong to from our
Oh,
team. So, we met the people that took the picture and all that kind of stuff, and that's just it, it's crazy that they just took this picture at the right point time. And they
yeah.
said when they turned around, she was gone.
Oh, wow.
Um, Now this picture, so this is the gravestone that she had sat on, but sitting on there on the right hand is Ursula Bielski. Ursula does a lot, or she used to do a lot with Chicago hauntings. She actually wrote a book all about Bachelors Grove and everything like that. Um, and she's sitting on the exact same tombstone that they say um, the Madonna of Bachelors Grove is sitting on.
Hey, Nick, I think you're getting some feedback.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
I might have been too close. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Live TV, folks. That's what
There you go.
we do.
Let me try to
Yeah.
set it. Can you hear me?
Yes, much
Okay.
better.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I won't lean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
This is my face. Okay. Sorry.
um, but she actually
Um,
wrote a book on Bachelor's Grove, and it's right here. It's a really good book. I definitely recommend everybody get it. And then when you guys get to the part about the pond, Shadowhunters is in the book because we had our own personal experience with that little girl by the pond.
tell us a little bit more about that.
So um, we were walking by the pond, and we had the um, motion detector. Okay, the motion detector we had with us and everything, and it was a very still day. Like there was nothing. Um, and no wind, no nothing. And we tested it. We constantly tested it. We would walk past it, see if it would go off this angle, that angle, anything like that. Well, every time we would mention to the little girl, we were told by Ursula and stuff like that that she was in a white dress and all that. And every time we would talk about a white dress, the motion detector would go off. But then it seemed like she got scared of that noise because it's very annoying. I can tell you that now. It's just beep beep, like it constantly goes off and everything like that. Um, and then we decided to walk on the other side of the cemetery and leave the motion detector by the pond, and it would go off, constantly go off, constantly go off. And we still feel that the little girl, for some reason, is by the pond.
Yeah.
Uh, so we don't know if maybe she drowned there, because way back a long time ago, Bachelors Grove, the cemetery, used to be a place where people would have picnics all the time. And it would also be a place, that pond, where people could go swimming too. Um, but then it got all eaten up. It got all mucky. It got disgusting back there. And I wouldn't be surprised. And nobody has been, to the bottom of that pond or anything like that. I wouldn't go in there either. There's no way. Um, a lot of people think that there's some of the headstones are thrown in the pond as well. But they say Al Capone threw a lot of his victims inside of that pond behind Bachelors Grove.
Yeah. There's also, did you guys see any of the blue lights?
We didn't see the blue lights, but we have heard of them though.
Yeah. Now there's these like blue circles that there's a lot of them, I think. And different stories, different people have different experiences with them. But there was this one person who got close enough to actually put her hand through it without it disappearing. Said that there was no temperature change or nothing. It's just that she was able to put her hand through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna send you a picture. Now this is going back to the infant daughter
Okay.
headstone. So you should be getting that. Yes.
Yep.
And so I've heard different things about the infant daughter. I heard that, or what I saw from different stories, is that the infant died shortly after birth.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I mean, there's so many stories and there's so many, different things. I did find, which is kind of cool, I did find the names of the people who are supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like from the Historical Society, and they have, when they finally mapped it out, they had, some of the graves when they mapped it out, on beside it says headstone gone, or things along like that. What were some of the other ones? There was, the Madonna.
Mm-hmm. There's a better, so that's more of, if you guys don't know, that is Ursula, who had wrote the books and stuff like that on Bachelors Grove, and even the dudes have been there. Ghost Adventures did a whole entire episode. I had to say it, sorry.
Yeah. There you go.
They did a whole entire episode at Bachelors Grove, and when they did Bachelors Grove, they also did. There's another haunted nightclub in Chicago. It's not there anymore, but it was called the Excalibur nightclub. That was supposed to be very, very haunted as well. But yeah, there's a lot with Bachelors Grove. Some of the stuff that we saw was like, so the land surrounding Bachelors Grove Cemetery was originally settled by English homesteaders who relocated to the area from New England, including Stephen Rexford, the most well-known of the first wave of Anglo settlers around 1833. According to local legends and records, Edward M. Everden sold the property to Frederick Schmidt in 1864. Reserving and setting aside 1 acre of land to be used as the graveyard.
Oh, so I just found something out. The actual infant daughter's tombstone is not the original stone.
Mm-mm.
It's actually a replacement for the one that was there prior.
Yep.
They do have another one of a Mrs. Rogers. And they say that it's a woman who looks like she's frantically looking for treasure or something, or things that were lost. Frantically looking around. She's an older woman. Looking for, because they say that she's upset because the headstone is in the wrong spot.
There you go.
I was like, I guess I'd be upset.
I thought I had a picture of the pond. Because I don't.
There's another. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's kind of hard. So like the only thing that they say not to do at Bachelor's Grove, like when you're in the actual cemetery, is try to take EVPs because there's a highway right there. So the only thing you're gonna get is
Tony.
hi Tony.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get cars flying by.
Yeah. In 1984, a man said that he saw an apparition standing by a tree, and it was a yellow figure, a man with a hat, probably in his 40s. And he was able to take a picture of him on 1,000 speed film, and he can't find it now.
Of course,
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of stink.
that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories about Bachelor's Grove and everything, and the one story that's still kind of cool to this day is, I mean, not really good for the people, but they there's when you're walking down Bachelor's Grove, it looks like there used to be a road, and this is where like people would drive on, like way back in the day, like horse and buggy and all that.
Hmm.
Well, they say that the guy who was driving the horse and buggy lost control and they went into the pond behind the cemetery. And that's where the horse died, where he died too. And they say sometimes at night or something, you'll still hear the horse clip clapping back and forth on that road. And then sometimes you can see a lantern go on the road too.
Cool.
But the thing is, nobody is allowed in Bachelor's Grove at night. They have so many police patrolling that area, it's not even funny. You've got to get special permission. You have to pay a lot of money just to do Bachelor's Grove at night. Because I mean, you have to be careful because there are animals there. There's a lot of squatters that are there, and there's also what they say devil worshipping that goes on at Bachelor's Grove too.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Yeah. There was one time that Nick and I and the team, we went to a different cemetery, and this was in the day.
Yeah.
And it was one of it was one of the tours. I remember this. And we were walking around and kind of experiencing this, and all of a sudden we started hearing screaming coming from the other side of the fence, in the back corner of the of the cemetery. And it was terrifying. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I was like, I'm out. You know, I mean, it was so loud. You would think that there was somebody back there or some kind of it sounded like a ceremony going on where they were telling this girl to touch it, right? Or they were telling someone to touch it. And there has been things found back there that have meaning that no one should touch ever.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, the place that Diana is talking about is St. Patrick's Cemetery in Wadsworth, Illinois. And for those that have ever heard the story of Bloody Mary, you know, or I believe in Mary Worth, or however you want to say it, you know, you look in the mirror and you say Bloody Mary 3 times, and apparently she, you know, appears, and then you get like a scratch on your face or something. Well, Bloody Mary originated in Illinois, and we found in her, well, we didn't find it, but we went to explore it. But her house used to be in the back of St. Patrick's Cemetery, and they said that she did a lot of worshiping. And remember, that's when we found Devil's Pool, that pool and all that. And remember, nobody can walk in. We were getting dizzy.
Oh my God, it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that was, I think, the first time that I ever experiencing something where I felt like I was standing still and the world was spinning around me. It was just like, what?
Yep.
I was like, oh, I can't stay here.
Yeah,
I honestly felt I thought I came close to passing out.
Yeah, that was
like,
oof. I mean, I would love to go back, but now that everything has grown again, we're not going to find it. And we almost got lost last time. Good thing we had Pat with us.
We did. That's another behind the scenes.
Yeah. that was fun though. We were just kind of walking through these woods, not knowing where the hell we were going.
Yeah. Me and my new coat. That was out. Yeah.
I remember that.
Not a good idea.
It was a good time.
Yep.
All right, guys, it is 8:30, so real quick, we are going to take our commercial break. And when we come back, we will be talking more about Bachelors Grove Cemetery in Cook County, Illinois.
Heard a girl scream down here.
Are you kidding me right now?
I'm listening.
Very well. Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Hello.
For those that are just joining us or not, we are talking about Bachelors Grove Cemetery in. A lot of people like to say it's Chicago. It's a suburb of Chicago. It is Cook County, but it's not Chicago. It's Midlothian, Illinois, is where Bachelors Grove is located. Now, aren't you close to that, Diana?
We're close to the Union Cemetery.
Okay.
I don't believe, because I'm in a different county and it's not Cook.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, as long as you're not in with all the high taxes and.
Yeah. Think you know.
Yeah, right.
We don't make that much. I sent you during the break. I sent you a picture of one of the pictures that what's his name took. It's a picture. It's actually the picture of the figure of the yellow man.
Oh.
Let's see.
All right, StreamYard. All right.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do is I'll take the slides off. I'm gonna remove it, Todd, from the thing. There we go.
Okay.
And then let's share the screen.
Yeah. You can barely see it, but if you can, kind of make it bigger, it does actually show. And if you look at like how big that figure is to the tombstone, it's he's a fairly decent size picture. And this was Peter Krapia's. How do you say his name?
I
I didn't want to say,
Creppy is.
no disrespect at all meant at all. I just didn't know how to say his name. Let's see. I did find a lot of the um old, like I said, I found all the names of the people that were there. There was a poem. Yes. Um this poem was extracted from the Suburban Newspaper Company's record Saturday, August 20th of 1892. Okay. And it's a poem, and it's called The Old Cemetery. And it's she sits upon the worn old grave and gaily uses as a pillow the battered headstone rudely carved with a funeral urn and weeping willow. The epitaph she puzzles out with words and laughter light and mocking light and mocking, displaying well a dainty shoe and quite an inch of silken stocking. She jests about the curious name, the verse with quaint old phrases laden, and yet what if in the future some saucy 20th century maiden, upon a summer afternoon, an ancient cemetery choosing, should flirt upon her grave and think it all so jolly and amusing? I was like, oh, yeah, that's why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
That might be a problem. Oh, I also found how much um when they were still selling plots to be buried in.
Mm-hmm.
I found one that was $1 a year. When you were
Yeah.
alive, you would pay $1 a year to maintain your spot,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in 1947.
Yeah. Back when things were cheap.
Oh, that wasn't cheap back then.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and then the way they would get I kind of delved deep into how things were running back then. There's a, from the War Department, they actually had a certificate or a receipt that
Mm-hmm.
would say, it was to this one person. And what they would do is that the military would supply, or the Department of War would provide the headstone, but they would have to pick it up at the train station and put it in place by themselves.
Right.
And it's like, I know that sounds kind of like, why is she talking about that? It's just because, I don't know, because of the damage and because of all the work that it took a community. This isn't, I'm going to go ahead and hire Joe over here who's going to just kind of pick it up and that's what he does for a living. That wasn't it. That was
Right.
it. They worked together and the community kind of had this. So, I guess I'm just pretty heartbroken about how anybody would think that would be funny.
Yeah.
Because what other picks did you have? Did you say you had like quite a few picks?
I don't know. It's not popping up anymore, but let me see.
Of course.
I know I have, here, you know what? I can put this one up. So this is a picture of the pond. Is it popping up?
Not yet.
Maybe. Hopefully soon.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah, so this is a picture of the pond. But I mean, even if you look like right here, you can see like there's a path
Mm-hmm.
to the pond and everything. But they say this whole area used to be a big like swimming hole. Yeah, this whole thing used to be a big swimming hole and everything like that. And they say this is where some of Al Capone's victims are, and this is where some of that horse and buggy is. And a lot of people say they see the little girl down here too.
Mm, yeah. So about the road pathway
Mm-hmm.
next to the cemetery, that actually was a main thoroughfare. But
Okay.
when they built the new road, of course, they stopped using the old one, and that kind of fell into disrepair. So,
Okay.
which makes it, because I mean, if you think about it, why would they put a cemetery in the middle of nowhere where nobody
Right.
can get to it, nobody can see it? But yeah, it
Well,
was
that's why I
actually,
said too. Like with the cemetery, was also a place where people can go have a picnic.
Yeah.
And stuff too. Which I guess it's kind of weird now, but back then it was common.
Oh yeah,
People used to have picnics at cemeteries all the time.
yeah, Dia de la Muerta or
Mm-hmm.
Muerto, whatever.
Yep.
They have picnics right there with their loved ones. So,
Right.
did you guys ever like? Because I know you can't get EVPs because of the road. Did you guys ever hear anything?
I
That
mean, we've heard stuff, but I mean we haven't. I mean that's nothing that we really even caught on. Or actually, I take that back. When we went behind the cemetery,
Mhm.
like where the rest of like the foundations are and all that kind of stuff, we would hear like you would get this feeling of it was kind of like people whispering to you, just and you would start hearing it in your ear and everything, and then we just what do you call it? I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. It's coming back to me.
You would hear whispering.
Yeah, like you would hear whispering and stuff like that, but then you would also feel like people would be following you and stuff like that too. It was definitely weird, like to be in there, and we always went there in the daytime because, like I said, you can't go there at night at all.
Yeah. Which is understandable because there's a lot of holes and places, and it is a dangerous place because it was condemned.
Right.
So,
right.
And there's pictures online of like holes in the earth and things that like if you don't know it's there, it could definitely cause some serious damage to you.
Right.
Then has anybody when you guys were there, did anybody ever get like touched or?
People have felt touched before. There was a point where we were all standing around like a big circle, okay? And we did this thing with this guy. God, I'm gonna forget his name. I think his name was George, and it was kind of like a conscious thing where he had everybody close their eyes and all that kind of stuff. And when he did this, everybody was feeling like something on the back of the head or the back of the neck or being touched or anything like that. I remember doing this thing, and when I did it, I saw everybody standing around, and it's like I got transported back towards the fence, and I was looking at everybody at the same time. That was really weird.
That would be.
Yeah, that was some crazy stuff there. I mean, that's what I was doing on my phone. I was trying to look for more pictures to send in, but I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can find.
There's also the picture of the little girl in the long dress. Did you get that picture?
Did you send it?
Yeah, I sure can. I will.
Well, here I will show this real quick. This is the entrance into Bachelors Grove. It's just this big wooded area. Now imagine walking this at night.
Yeah. Thank you. No.
Yep.
Now, granted, these pictures that we're showing, we're getting them off the internet.
Hmm.
Okay. There are legends behind the pictures that we do get. But like anything else, there's no actual 100% proof that this wasn't doctored, but it is presented in a way where, yes, this was the little girl. And I'm going to show this to you because this might freak you out. Image and send to Nick, because I want you to tell me if this is who you saw.
Oh, Diana sent the photo. It's close. Here, I'll
Yeah.
show it for everybody. Let me see if it.
So, so with her, there's another smaller one too. Now, did this little girl have brown hair or blonde hair, or the one that you saw?
The one that we saw, like we really couldn't make out the hair. We just kind of made out the dress type of thing.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, because it was so in the moment right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and so, like I said before, the reason why I kind of picked this picture to go ahead and show everybody is because it just kind of gives a depiction of what kind of you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Also with different kind of sacrifices that are done, there's different kinds of witchcraft. There's different kinds of things. Now, not all witchcraft, not all other types of beliefs, are actually all evil.
Right.
So it's I know it's definitely very true. There are some religions that I would think that, that's why I don't talk religion, because
Right.
you don't know. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh crap, what if I'm wrong?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's kind of, since I don't know, it's that I think that's why I kind of, it has the scare value, because I would be terrified, if all of a sudden I
Right.
kind of walked up and there was a headless chicken or whatever. Because you see, now that just definitely proves I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's still so, different things mean different things to different people. So,
Mm-hmm.
but back to the cemetery. They also, besides the blue lights, they another video that I watched showed these, like, they kind of, to me, for lack of a better thing, they kind of look like really big fireflies.
Okay.
Because they would be here and then they'd be gone, and then but here's your little tiny little firefly, and this thing was like this big.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like mutant fireflies from hell.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bachelors Grove Cemetery.
Yeah. And then so with all the damage, and I mean, it wasn't just gravestones getting pushed over, which was horrible in and of its own self. There's also, like, beer cans and evidences of people having parties, and
Mm-hmm.
And this is supposed to be sacred ground.
Right.
So that, to me, kind of says, hey, this is why
Mm-hmm.
it's so haunted. These people have been disrespected in a way that goes beyond beyond, you know, yeah. So that's why a lot of the dead there that aren't sitting right, you
And
know.
I'm sure there's like evil stuff there too. I'm sure
Oh
there is
yeah,
because
yeah.
of look at all that stuff. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
Um,
People bringing over what they don't know
mhm.
and think that they can. Well, I'll just send them back.
No,
Wrong. No, they're gonna hang around for a while.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
like when we saw that picture. It was a picture of a girl, and it had a whole bunch of candles around it. We told people don't touch that.
Mm-mm.
You, even though the candles are burnt out and everything, all that residue is still on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Absolutely.
just walked right around it.
Hmm.
We're like,
You
nope.
don't know if it was a curse. You don't know if it was a protection. And if you
Hmm.
touch something, then it would break that. And then the protection, there's so
Yeah.
many different things.
Now, I mean, like me, like I'm interested in that kind of stuff. I won't do it,
Oh,
but I'm very interested. Like, how does this stuff actually work? Because if it works, then we're not understanding certain things yet. Like there's so much out there in the world that right now, I mean, we still don't understand and everything. But I mean, if there's stuff that like you can actually do a curse or a protection spell or anything like that, how come we're not using that in our daily life then for everything? Because
because
it
people don't
kind
believe.
well, right.
Yeah.
And
And they
but
fear.
yeah, fears, yeah. Um, because one of the things that I've been really kind of focusing in on, and it kind of has to do with, like not really like witchcraft and stuff like that, but it's more intention. Your vibration, send out that vibration to Earth, and you should get whatever you want, type of thing. And which is funny because when on Mother's Day, I took my mom out. We went to eat and stuff like that, and we went to a casino.
Hmm.
And since that morning, I kept telling myself, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. Like I had that. That was my mindset all day. Is I'm gonna win. Good things happening.
Hmm.
Good things happening. Randomly, and I never do this. Randomly, I just happen to hit max bet. I hit max bet. Um, wild, wild, wild. I won $200 right away, and I cashed out. And
There
it's
you go.
like
And kept money, right?
I did. I actually kept the money for this weekend so we can pay for our hotel.
Ooh, you're buying the snacks then.
Yeah, right. I can do that. That's fine with me. Um, but but that's my thing is like, did it work from that or was it just luck?
Positive attracts, you
Mm-hmm.
know, positive attracts good things.
Yep.
Um, and the fact that you opened yourself up to take that chance.
Mm-hmm.
So when you open yourself up to take that chance, you were rewarded.
Right.
Now you're not going to be rewarded every single time, but yeah.
Nice.
So
Max bet every
mhm.
single time. All
Yeah.
that stuff. But no, guys, if you guys have not checked out Bachelor's Grove, definitely go check it out. Only go during the daytime. Now to park over there's a forest preserve that's right across the street. You have to park your car over there. You have to cross that busy highway to get to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. But do not go at night. Don't ever
Yeah.
go at night unless you have permission. And this goes for anywhere. Always
Hmm.
make sure that you have permission before you go on any type of paranormal investigation, wherever. Just make sure that you can be there without getting in trouble because it's not worth spending a couple nights in jail or a night in
Yeah.
jail for
And
breaking in.
yeah. Always make sure that when you go on any haunt or any investigation, you
Mm-hmm.
go in with good intentions.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
um, with it gets such a much more positive experience. Um, always, always, always treat spirits with respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am not a believer at all in anybody like antagonizing spirits
Right.
to get a reaction. It's
Right.
kind of like somebody walking into your home and causing all kinds of havoc just to see what kind of reaction you're gonna get.
Right.
Don't do that.
Uh,
They're
uh, uh.
people. They were people. They have souls. Just don't. So Nick, what's our next next week's show?
Next week's show is, it's funny that you say that because I kind of erased everything on accident, but we will find a new location, I promise you. um, there are so many locations that are out there. I promise, guys, we will find a very good one for you, and I will even try to get a special guest for it too, to
Yes.
come on the show with us.
If there's any show or any place that you guys want us to kind of present, let us know. We'd love to, because that's how since I'm newer and I haven't been able to go to Bachelors Grove or any of these other places, it lets me learn about it, and it kind of makes me more excited about wanting to go everywhere.
That just reminded me, that is our next place, the Conjuring House.
Oh, yeah.
Nick
was able to go there. I was.
We went there. We took some pictures.
Jealous.
We could not get inside. We were so mad. But yes, next week will be all about the Conjuring House. So thank you guys. So we do have to end with before 60 minutes, just because there is another show after us, right after us. But thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for Haunted Locations in 60 minutes. We're so glad to be back. This is our new start time, 8 to 8:55 p.m. Central Standard Time. As always, that is Diana Henry. My name is Nick Sarlo, and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.